This is my ranking of colony sim games that I've played based purely on my personal experience. Each one is placed from masterpiece down to trash, depending on how deep the colony systems are and how well survival and management mechanics work. Let's get straight into the list. Necesse puts me in a procedurally generated world where I gather resources, chop trees, mine ore, craft equipment, and build a settlement while exploring caves, islands, and dangerous biomes. Early on, I handle every task myself, but visitors soon arrive and can be recruited as settlers. I assign jobs like farming, hauling, crafting, forestry, fishing, hunting, and animal care while creating work zones, storage rules, and priorities to keep resources moving. I also manage housing, food, defenses, and settler happiness as raids threaten the colony. Beyond the settlement, I explore dungeons, clear enemy-filled areas, gather better gear, unlock new crafting options, and fight massive bosses that cover the screen with attacks. As the colony expands, more workers join, production chains grow, automation improves, and tougher challenges appear across different biomes and underground regions. This settles into the excellent tier. Dwarf Fortress puts me in charge of a small group of dwarves trying to survive in a deeply simulated world that is generated from scratch. I choose where to settle, dig into mountains, gather resources, farm food, craft goods, build workshops, and expand my fortress room by room. Every dwarf has skills, needs, emotions, and relationships, so managing daily life becomes just as important as construction. As the settlement grows, migrants arrive, industries expand, trade develops, and military squads defend against monsters, wildlife, and invasions. There is no fixed victory condition, so I set my own goals, whether building a legendary fortress, creating complex machines, training elite soldiers, or surviving disasters. Unexpected stories emerge from every system, turning simple management decisions into memorable events and long-running histories that feel completely unique. This takes place in the masterpiece tier. RimWorld puts me in control of a group of survivors, trying to build a colony on a distant planet where almost everything can become a threat. Before starting, I choose a scenario, a storyteller, a location, and colonists with different skills, traits, and personalities. I construct shelters, grow food, research technology, craft equipment, manage work priorities, and expand the colony while keeping everyone fed, healthy, and comfortable. Random events constantly create new problems, including raids, diseases, extreme weather, fires, animal attacks, and equipment failures. Colonists form friendships, develop rivalries, suffer mental breaks, and react to the conditions around them, making every settlement feel different. Even small mistakes can create larger disasters that completely change the colony's future. The endless stories, deep management, and incredible replay value place this in the masterpiece tier. Clanfolk has me guiding a small highland family through the challenges of building a home and surviving in a rugged countryside shaped by changing seasons. I gather resources, harvest plants, cut trees, craft tools, and construct shelters while preparing for changing seasons. Every family member has skills, priorities, and daily responsibilities. So I decide who farms, hunts, crafts, cooks, or cares for children. The game follows a production chain where simple materials become clothing, furniture, tools, and larger buildings that improve survival. Winter is the biggest challenge, forcing me to stockpile food, produce warm clothing, gather fuel, and improve housing before freezing temperatures arrive. As the settlement grows, new generations learn skills, workloads expand, and the homestead becomes more self-sufficient. The strong atmosphere and survival systems place this in the excellent tier. Prison Architect tasks me with designing and operating a correctional facility where security, finances, and inmate management are all connected. I build cell blocks, kitchens, canteens, offices, workshops, and utility networks while making sure the prison can support a growing population. Guards, workers, doctors, and other staff require proper assignments, and I regularly adjust schedules, policies, and patrol routes to maintain order. Inmates have needs that must be addressed, but they also attempt to smuggle contraband, start fights, dig escape tunnels, and avoid surveillance. As the prison grows, I accept grants, establish rehabilitation programs, recruit informants, and deal with unexpected problems such as riots, fires, overdoses, and disease outbreaks. Managing the balance between prisoner welfare and strict security creates a deep and rewarding simulation. This finds a place in the Great Tier. Noble fates cast me as a demigod ruler tasked with building a kingdom in a fantasy world shaped by relationships, ambitions, and personal choices. I start with a small group of settlers and gradually expand the settlement by gathering resources, constructing buildings, crafting equipment, and developing food production. Every character has their own skills, personality traits, thoughts, and goals, so managing people becomes just as important as expanding the kingdom itself. I decide who handles farming, crafting, foraging, and other jobs while helping them improve their abilities over time. Relationships with other groups influence trade, diplomacy, and future interactions, adding another layer to the management systems. As the settlement grows from a few survivors into a thriving realm, new opportunities and challenges continue to appear. This settles into the Great Tier. Songs of Six turns a small settlement into a sprawling kingdom, where population growth creates new opportunities and new problems at every stage. Keeping citizens fed, housed, healthy, and productive becomes a constant balancing act as I expand farms, mines, fisheries, workshops, and trade networks. Different races have their own strengths, preferences, and expectations, so building a stable society requires careful planning. Raw resources pass through large production chains to become food, clothing, furniture, tools, weapons, and luxury goods needed by the population. Beyond city management, I research technologies, train armies, establish trade routes, expand territory, and interact with other powers across the world map. The scale continues to increase as thousands of citizens depend on the systems I build and maintain. This belongs in the Masterpiece tier. Battle Brothers is a mercenary management RPG where I travel across a medieval world taking contracts and building a company of sellswords. Every job becomes a risk versus reward decision because food, equipment, medicine, tools, and wages all cost money. Between missions, I recruit new fighters from different backgrounds, equip them with weapons and armor, and shape the company around different combat roles. Battles play out on a hex-based battlefield where positioning, terrain, formations, and weapon choices can decide the outcome. Injuries, deaths, and lost equipment carry lasting consequences, making every encounter feel important. As the company gains experience, stronger enemies, larger contracts, and greater opportunities appear across the world. The combination of tactical combat and mercenary management places this in the Great Tier. Amazing Cultivation Simulator blends colony management, crafting, strategy, and cultivation mechanics into a journey where I guide a small sect toward becoming a powerful spiritual force. Building the settlement requires gathering resources, producing materials, constructing specialized rooms, and expanding the sect's infrastructure while keeping track of food, morale, skills, and progression. A major part of the game revolves around cultivation, where disciples train, improve their abilities, and pursue higher realms of power on the path toward immortality. The 5-element system influences both character growth and construction, making the placement of buildings and objects an important part of development. As the sect grows, more disciples join, new technologies become available, and larger goals open up across the world. The mix of deep management and cultivation systems places this in the good tier. Oxygen Not Included turns survival into a constant engineering challenge, where every system inside my asteroid colony depends on another. Creating a stable home means producing food, generating oxygen, managing waste, controlling temperature, and supplying power while making sure my duplicants can keep working efficiently. Every expansion creates new problems because resources are limited and mistakes can spread through the colony in unexpected ways. I spend my time digging deeper into the asteroid, researching technologies, building automated systems, and monitoring detailed information through specialized management overlays. Colonists follow assigned priorities, schedules, and tasks, allowing the colony to operate with increasing complexity as it grows. The deeper I progress, the more interconnected every machine, resource, and life support system becomes. The depth of its colony management and simulation systems places this in the masterpiece tier. Going medieval starts with a handful of survivors trying to build a life in a dangerous medieval world where planning ahead is essential for survival. Expanding the settlement means gathering resources, constructing homes, crafting equipment, farming crops, and creating production chains that keep everyone fed and supplied throughout the year. Each season introduces different challenges, forcing me to think about food storage, temperature, and resource management before conditions become a problem. The layered building system allows me to construct underground storage rooms, multi-story structures, defensive walls, and eventually large castles. Villagers develop skills and carry out assigned tasks, while hostile raids regularly test the settlement's defenses. Watching a small camp slowly grow into a fortified medieval town through careful management and long-term planning places this in the Great Tier. Stranded Alien Dawn builds its challenge around a remote colony where a few survivors must transform an untamed planet into a place they can call home. Survivor selection matters from the beginning because each person brings different strengths in farming, crafting, research, combat, medicine, and other essential tasks. I organize daily schedules, assign priorities, gather resources, grow crops, craft equipment, and build shelters that can withstand changing weather conditions. As the colony develops, I research new technologies, unlock advanced production options, and expand the settlement into a functioning community. Relationships between survivors also play a role, influencing morale, productivity, and how they react to difficult situations. Hostile creatures, illnesses, environmental hazards, and limited resources constantly create new challenges. The blend of survival and colony management places this in the Great Tier. Kenshi offers complete freedom in a harsh post-apocalyptic world where survival depends on the choices I make and the goals I set for myself. There are no main quests pushing me in a specific direction, so I can travel across the wasteland, recruit companions, build a settlement, become a trader, lead a mercenary group, or simply explore dangerous regions. Characters improve through practice rather than traditional leveling, with combat, labor, and other activities gradually increasing their abilities. Losing battles is often part of the journey because injuries, imprisonment, and even lost limbs can become opportunities for growth rather than immediate failure. Different factions control large parts of the world, creating political tensions and new challenges wherever I travel. The incredible freedom and emergent storytelling place this in the excellent tier. Mind Over Magic combines magical school management with colony simulation as I rebuild a cursed academy while preparing my mages for greater challenges ahead. Every room serves a purpose, so I design classrooms, workshops, kitchens, dormitories, and research spaces while making sure students and staff have what they need to succeed. Different mages specialize in different magical disciplines, encouraging me to balance teaching, crafting, farming, alchemy, and resource production across the academy. A deadly fog constantly threatens the school, creating pressure to expand carefully and strengthen magical defenses before it advances. Beyond the academy lies the Underschool, a dangerous dungeon filled with monsters, treasures, and powerful upgrades that help my mages grow stronger. The blend of academy building, magic progression, and dungeon exploration places this in the excellent tier. Keplerth mixes survival, exploration, crafting, and colony building as I try to survive on a mysterious planet filled with hostile creatures and hidden dangers. After waking up with almost nothing, I gather resources, craft tools, build shelters, and search for better equipment while uncovering the world's story. Managing hunger becomes an important part of survival, pushing me to hunt animals, gather food, farm crops, and create a steady source of supplies. As I explore further, I discover new settlements, unlock technologies, tame animals, and develop a more permanent base. Character progression comes through a gene modification system that lets me improve abilities and specialize in different strengths. Between dangerous nights, resource gathering, exploration, farming, and base expansion, there is always another goal to pursue. This settles into the Great Tier. Space Haven turns a small spacecraft into a traveling colony, where every system must work together to keep the crew alive among the dangers of deep space. Keeping the ship operational requires constant attention because I need to manage oxygen, temperature, power, water, food, medical supplies, and fuel while expanding the vessel room by room. Crew members handle every task themselves, so assigning priorities, schedules, and responsibilities becomes an important part of daily life aboard the ship. Resources come from mining asteroids, salvaging derelict spacecraft, trading with other factions, and exploring dangerous locations filled with threats. Crew relationships, moods, injuries, and personal traits add another layer to management, making each survivor feel important. The combination of spaceship design, survival systems, and crew management places this in the excellent tier. Ratopia builds its gameplay around city building, survival management, and economic systems as I guide a growing society of rats beneath a sprawling 2D world. Every citizen has their own wealth, needs, and characteristics, which means managing the colony involves more than simply expanding buildings and gathering resources. I dig through the landscape, collect materials, construct homes and workplaces, and establish production chains that keep the settlement operating efficiently. As the population grows, I assign jobs, maintain food supplies, improve infrastructure, and respond to challenges that can disrupt daily life. Disease, crime, hostile creatures, and other threats force me to adapt while continuing to expand the colony. Leadership perks, diplomacy systems, and customization options allow different approaches to development and survival. Watching a tiny rat settlement evolve into a prosperous underground civilization places this in the Great Tier. Those are my picks for colony sim games. Let me know which one you'd put in Masterpiece. See you in the next video.